'Twas a cold winter's night, and without any heat, I wore Bombas socks so they'd warm up my feet. Yay, my feet cried, these socks are the best. So cushy and warm, I can finally rest. But don't rest, I said, there's more if you please. Bombas also makes underwear, slippers, and tees. And for each thing you purchase, they donate one new to someone who needs it so they're cozy too. Everybody deserves to feel good all the time, so gift Bombas this season. That's the end of this rhyme. Go to bombas.com/audio and use code AUDIO for 20% off your first purchase.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
You're listening to the Cruise Tips TV Unplugged podcast. Today on the show, I brought Wendy, our travel agent partner, on to talk a little bit more about Norwegian's recent change back from more at sea to free at sea. Welcome to Cruise Tips TV Unplugged. I'm your host, Sherry, and we invite you to join our cruise-loving family as we travel the world creating cruise videos and vlogs. In this podcast, we talk tips, tactics, and strategies to help you make every cruise your dream cruise. Wendy, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on and discussing this potentially somewhat complicated topic with me. How are you?
Hi, Sherry. Yeah, no, I'm glad to be back. I know this is definitely a little confusing, and so I'm glad that you're having me on today so we can discuss free at sea, more at sea, and now back to free at sea.
Yeah, exactly. Free at sea, more at sea, and now back to free at sea. So let's give people just a general idea of what free at sea is, and then we can kind of get into some of the details here because it can get kind of confusing. So if I understand it correctly, is free at sea kind of a way that Norwegian makes your cruise a little bit more all-inclusive than like a normal cruise where basically what you get is like you get your cabin and then everything else is extra on top of that? Is that kind of how it works?
Correct. So what they did, and I remember the meeting with Andy Stewart, and they were going over this years ago on how they were going to this all-inclusive kind of program. And it does make sense because what happens with a lot of clients, they will book a cruise with me from another line, and they book it, the price point was perfect for them, and then they go in to see all the extra perks that they need to purchase. And when they look at the drink package and the Wi-Fi and the dining, now their cruise has doubled in price. And so with that, I really do feel it's a great program. And I know other cruise lines have kind of went to this, like Princess. So I like it. I think it's a great program. And it's here to stay. So I'm just glad that they went back to free versus more. I just never could get into more.
You never got into more at sea. And I think that people agreed with that. And I think that's why Norwegian listened and made the change. I don't think they've changed it back exactly to what free at sea used to be. Because now you do have to purchase your Starbucks and your coffee package and your water. You have to buy those as a separate package, but there's still part of more at sea that they held on to. Like, for example, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's a reason why I brought you on as an expert, because I think I'm right about this stuff, but I want to make sure. One of the things that more at sea brought was that when you went on specialty dining, you get one appetizer, one main course, and then you'd get one dessert. And then with more at sea, what they did is they said, okay, when you go to specialty, you can actually have 3 appetizers, 1 main, and 3 desserts. And people were like, oh, and I can tell you firsthand that when I went on Norwegian, I loved this because I don't usually want to order 2 entrees, but you better believe I want to try a couple of their appetizers because sometimes they're the best part. Like, I mean, if you go to the French place, you want escargot and then maybe a salad or some, French onion soup and one other thing. Like, for me, this is a huge value. So I think they kept some of the good things of more at sea, like some of the premium alcohol, and then just brought back the simplicity of free at sea in some ways, right?
Well, yeah, I love that they're gonna have the 3 appetizers, they're gonna have the 1 entree and the 3 desserts, like you said. That
Hmm.
is definitely a game changer for people who you're right, who may there's a lot of food on ships, right? And so you may not want one of each. You might want just more appetizers. So, yeah, I'm glad that they kept that on, the free at sea, that just came out.
Yeah, me too. So I think one of the biggest changes with them going from more at sea back to free at sea is the dining packages. So how do
Yes.
the dining packages work now for Norwegian cruisers?
Well, that was a huge game changer, and I can tell you why. So basically, the way that they're doing it now is doesn't matter if you have an inside cabin, ocean view, balcony, you're all going to get the same amount of specialty dinings included. So for a 7-night cruise, you would get 3. And in the
Hmm.
past, it was inside cabins only got 1. And where that made it a challenge is if you were going with friends and family and maybe they're in inside cabins, or you
Mm,
had kids who cross away and they were in inside cabins. So by everybody having the same packages now, then everybody can go to dinner. Nobody has an extra fee when they arrive. So I think this was a great move on Norwegian's part.
got it. So for 2 to 4 night cruises, you get 1 specialty. 5 to 6 nights, according to this thing you sent me, you get 2. 7 to 8, you get 3 meals, and on 9 nights or more, you get 4 specialty dining meals.
Right, which is a good value. So
Yeah.
basically, on the 3 meals, you're only paying $60 per person on this. So
Okay.
if you look at specialty in any of the other cruise lines, their starting price is usually 45 a person
Hmm.
for every meal, right? So
Yeah.
it is a good value when you look at the price point per se, buying it separately and other lines versus buying it inclusive. Now these are not the prices that you're paying are actually for the gratuity. It's
Okay.
not even for the cost because again, it's free at sea. So
Right.
they're just showing you the upfront gratuity that you do need to pay for to have the dining.
Got it. Okay, so there's a gratuity on the dining package. And so it's free at sea, but you're paying gratuities on that. And so that gratuity is $20 for the 1 meal package, 40 for the 2 meal package, and 60 for the 3 meal package, and 80 per for the 4 meal. And that's going to be for the whole cruise, right? That's not per meal. That's per package.
Correct. And if you don't
Okay.
want the dining, you don't have to have it. So, as a travel advisor, my clients who don't want to have it, you just get it removed off your package. So, if it's
Okay.
something that you're not interested in, you can just have it removed.
So that leads me to this question. What if you don't want free at sea? Do they still offer their stripped down rate? I think it was called sail away rate.
Yes. So sail away rates, that's with no of these offerings, right?
Right.
So you would not be able to get any of those perks. And it's usually a discounted price. So there's a
Hmm.
reason for it being like that. And you can actually buy all these items separately, once you book your cruise or on board. So there is other ways to do it.
Hmm.
However, even if you booked, you're not doing one of those sail away options, you can always still get the excursion credit
Hmm.
and the Wi-Fi included. And there's no extra gratuity for those two. So
Okay.
a lot of my clients who don't want the beverage or they don't want the dining, they
Hmm.
just have me remove just those 2.
Okay, got it. And then you could have that base rate, the sail away rate, and the cruise could be cheaper. And then you could add what you really want to add.
Correct.
Gratuities are never included in free at sea, right?
No, the regular gratuities, no. But like,
Okay.
for example, a lot of travel advisors out there, a lot of options. A lot of times at Dream Vacations even will
Hmm.
have a promotion where we're giving free gratuity away. So
Oh,
just seek out for those deals out there. I
okay.
can't tell you if one's coming, but maybe one's
Hmm.
coming.
You never
And
know.
so
Hmm.
if your cruise qualifies for it, you can actually get a lot of times your main gratuity as part of a perk.
Hmm.
So just be aware that that's out there as well.
Oh,
But yeah,
okay.
this is only for the beverage and for the dining, and people do get confused because they feel like they're getting double gratuity, right? Because you have your regular gratuity, you have
Hmm.
your dining gratuity, and your beverage gratuity, and just realize they're all separations.
Yeah. Okay, got it. So let's walk through. I feel like I jumped us right into some of the more like controversial topics of dining and all of that. But let's talk about what free at sea includes for every cruiser to start. So these are the add-ons, and you tell me if I'm right. So we know you have the option to do the unlimited open bar, right?
Correct.
You've got the specialty dining that's included with a gratuity.
Well,
Hmm.
yes, that's
If
correct.
you
Let's
you
go back to
pick from these like a
specialty.
menu, right? Like,
Let's
hmm
go back to that premiums, the specialty open bar, the ultimate open
okay,
bar.
unlimited open bar.
With
Okay.
that, just be aware that everyone who's over 21, if you're picking open bar, everyone
Hmm.
has to have it in the room.
Okay.
So it's not one or the other.
Got it. So like if you were cruising, I think you mentioned this, we were talking about this a couple months ago. You said if you've got 4 adults in a suite, sharing a suite, and everyone would have to be a drinker for this to be worth it because there's, everyone has to buy the package.
Right. So it just depends. Like
Mhm.
what I ask my clients is like, who's going to be drinking,
Mhm.
how much,
Mhm.
and we have to judge it, right? So if
Yeah.
it's just 2 people, it might be still okay to get the bar package. But if it's 4 people and 3 out of the 4 do not drink and only one, you may just want to buy that separately. So
Got
it's
it.
really just, math is mathing kind of thing. So
Got it. So free at sea includes that open unlimited bar. It's
yes.
also specialty dining where we get the credits we already talked about. And then you also can choose free airfare for the second guest, right? If the Norwegian picks your flight though, and then the second guest is free. And that's optional, but it's part of free at sea. Is that right?
Yes, and that's actually a really good perk.
Mm-hmm.
If you're okay with being flexible, I do mean
Right.
flexible, like your
Mm-hmm.
air could have 2 connections. So it just depends on how you're okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a phenomenal price to get their airfare.
Mm-hmm.
I had a client recently cancel 2 cruises because her airfare from Detroit to Fort Lauderdale was over $750. So
Okay.
it just didn't make sense to go on the cruise at this point because the air was more than the trip. So
Mm-hmm.
always ask about the free airfare, see how much it is, and it may be worth it to add it on. And you can keep it on your booking up until final payment. So why
Okay.
would you just not get it from the get go and then later on decide?
Cancel it if you need to. Got
Mhm.
it. So that's buy one, get one free airfare, basically.
Yes.
Okay. And then as part of free at sea, everybody also gets excursion credits. How does that work?
So it goes on to guest one. So basically, they get a $50 shore excursion credit. So basically, you're getting $50 for the entire cabin for
Hmm.
every port that you stop at.
Oh,
So it
wow.
can be a huge value if you're using it every port and you're booking Norwegian excursions.
Mhm.
It can bring down the price, for your excursions.
Wow, that is actually great. So $50 shore excursion credit per stateroom per port.
Correct.
Got it. And then Wi-Fi is also included, but not like a all-inclusive, you're connected 24/7 package. What do we get with the Wi-Fi?
Well, with the new package at Free at Sea, it's 150 minutes. And before, depending on more at sea, depending on how many days, you got different prices.
Mhm.
It's more simplified. For me as a travel advisor, I love it because everyone gets 150. It doesn't matter how long or how
Ooh.
short. You're
Mhm.
just getting 150 minutes of Wi-Fi, and you can upgrade inside once you're booked. So
Got
if
it.
you need more, you can do that as well.
And did you say that's per person? 150 minutes per person?
Per person, yes.
Okay, that's kind of cool. And then I'm looking at their upgrades, their Wi-Fi upgrades here. And it says here that if you want to upgrade, if you don't want the 150, if you just want like a more standard non-minutes based one, you can get the Voyage Wi-Fi pass for let's see, that's $29.99 per stateroom per day. The streaming pass for $39.99 per day. And it looks like if you have extra devices, you have to pay more for that too. But those unlimited? I think that they are, right?
Yeah, because you're paying a higher price point, but I do
Yeah.
caution everyone, even as a travel advisor, I have to buy Wi-Fi because my clients are always on trips and,
Yeah.
150 minutes still is a lot. You should be enjoying the cruise. So do
Okay.
what you can unless
Mm.
you've got some job or some situation you have to have Wi-Fi. Try to stay with the 150. You'll just have a better experience on
Yeah.
your vacation.
Try to stay more disconnected.
It's hard, I know.
It's hard, but use it. Get on, log in, but then you must log off so that
Right.
150-minute clock is not running, or you will burn through it the first day. Because that 150
Right.
minutes is 2.5 hours, and that is not going to get you very far.
Right. So
Okay.
if your kids they're streaming or anything
Yeah.
they're going to game, you got to
Okay.
really rethink this then.
Got it. And then the last perk of free at sea is the kids sail free component. So that's kids can sail free. How does that work?
So with kids sail free, basically the only thing you're gonna be paying is the taxes on board for that, for those guests,
Okay.
and it's not for every cruise. So just be aware that it's certain sailings. Typically, most of the sailings you would not be during like when kids are out of school, is what I find on most of these kids sail free.
Sure.
However, what some of the perks I've seen on all the lines now is look for your fall breaks. They typically do
Mm.
qualify. So if you don't want to take the kids out of school, look at those fall breaks. Those are definitely ones that you can see it on.
Ooh, I love that tip. That's a good one. Okay,
Yeah, it's been
perfect.
really popular this year, I can tell you. Fall break is a new thing,
I
so
love that. Awesome. Okay, cool. So we went through all of the different offer inclusions that you can grab. You can pick them. You can opt out of them too if you want to. Like if you don't want to pay the gratuities on that unlimited open bar, you can opt out. If you don't want to get the air, you can opt out, right? And so that's perfectly fine. You don't have to take those packages. There's other ways to do it. But let's shift gears now and let's talk about the beverage packages because you sent me there's a whole document explaining the beverage packages. So typically, though, what we get when we do free at sea is we get what they call the unlimited open bar. And this is new to free at sea. And they've pulled in some of the more at sea to this, where you have some bougie liquor here. So, um, what are we looking at here? Like, what are some
well, I
examples of
like
like,
this
yeah,
PDF because it does
uh-huh,
explain, what comes with it, right? There are drinks on board that are not going to qualify for this open bar package, so just be aware of that. So if you have a specialty drink that has a high-end liquor, it may not qualify.
right.
But for the most part, they do a good job of giving you a lot of choice on this.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you can feel free to reach out. I can happy to send you a PDF. But
Sure.
um, and I think this is open to the public, so they probably can. We'll see if we can add it to
Yeah.
Sherry as
We'll
well.
add it to our
But
website. We have an article about
yeah,
this. So just type in free at sea at cruisetipstv.com and I'll put this PDF for everybody into the
perfect.
article because it's great. It's like a travel agent's, cheat sheet with FAQs, a total breakdown of the beverage package, and just it's like a full color, beautiful brochure on it.
Because it's nice to know what you can drink, right? Like
Yeah.
what's included, what's not. And so if your drink is not on there, you
Right.
know that you're going to have additional costs.
Okay, cool. And I got to tell you guys, as someone who I do take advantage of when I'm on Norwegian, the unlimited open bar, they have some really nice brands on there that you can get. For example, for tequilas, you can get Casamigos Blanco. You can get Appleton Estate Signature. These are pretty pricey tequilas and rums. Even Scotch, you can get the Glenfiddich collection. You can get Maker's Mark or Woodford Reserve in bourbons. There's some decent ones. Now, the ones that aren't included, though, from what I can see from this, so in their connoisseur and signature selections, they actually will give you a big discount off of a cocktail or a shot of those. In fact, you get $15 off the price from their ultra premium selections. So if you wanted, like, say you wanted a shot of Johnny Walker Blue, they're going to give you 15 off of that because you have the open bar package. Another example would be a glass of Veuve Clicquot or some Monkey 47 gin. You're getting a really good discount on that. And you're getting a pretty darn good selection of beers and wines too. Like you can get White Claw, you can get some nice IPAs, some fancy imported beers too. And you're still getting your refresher sodas, tonics, juices, sports drink, and stuff like that in the beverage package.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
just a choice. There's so many good choices compared to the old free at sea. So this is definitely came from the more at sea program, and it definitely. So I like how they brought a lot of the more at sea onto the new free at sea.
Yeah. So, what isn't included, though, and what I think people need to know is that water, like bottled water and coffee, like Starbucks and stuff, not included. So, how does that work? How do you buy those?
Well, okay, so the water is a package. So basically you
Okay.
can buy like 12 bottles of water, and if you buy it ahead of time, it's 19.95. So that's just a one-time cost. And that's similar to all the other cruise lines. And I do recommend I don't go on a cruise without buying a water package. It's
Yeah.
just nice to have those bottled waters when you're leaving a ship, you're ready to go. So I do like this. And I would tell anyone, if you're new to cruising, grab the smallest one at least and have that for you.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's a package. And then
Okay.
Starbucks, they used to have Starbucks and free at sea. They took it out. So now it's an unlimited Starbucks package.
Okay.
It's per person at 16.50 a day. It's hard to judge that one because as a person who I do love Starbucks, but to just profit off this, you're looking at 3 a day Starbucks, right?
Yeah.
Or two to break even. And so I don't see me buying the Starbucks package because I wouldn't be able to drink that much coffee. But if you are that
Yes.
person who likes 3 a day, then I see value in this. So be aware
Hmm.
that currently I'm not a fan of the price point of it.
Hmm.
I wish they would add this. I wish there was a way that they can make the bar package, if you were a non-drinker like myself, that we could exchange the liquor for Starbucks or water or
Yes.
something. I'm hoping one
Yeah.
day I'll keep bringing it up to meetings, like,
Mhm.
give the non-alcoholic people something,
Yeah.
'cause I think that's
Yeah.
always a challenge for us, when I see
Mhm.
clients like my husband drinks, I don't drink, and,
Yeah.
what do we do, right? Versus if this was in it, I'm like, "Oh, let's get the drink package." I don't know about what you think about
Totally.
that, but
I
to me,
have to
that's a
agree with you.
no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they should bundle the water package, the Starbucks package, and the soda package together for non-drinkers. Charge a modest fee. Royal Caribbean does this with their Royal Refreshment package. We should have them bundled. And you should also be including things in that like all of those other beverages, the refreshers, the tonics, the juices, the energy drinks, the sports drinks. I mean, even their soda package just includes fountain soda and juices. Like it's super basic, and that's still going to cost you $12.50 a day. So,
Mhm.
yeah, right now it's like it's still complicated because if you have an unlimited open bar does not mean unlimited beverages. It means unlimited alcohol. But then you literally would have to buy three. You'd have to buy two more packages. It does include soda. Yes. Okay. We're good with soda. But you still have to buy the Starbucks package and the water package. So I think what Norwegian's trying to say is look, our unlimited open bar is unlimited open bar. It's not unlimited quote unquote drinks. And it honestly though, I guess it is cheaper though, right? Like you're spending a heck of a lot less on unlimited open bar at Norwegian than you would be on like the full drink package at Royal Caribbean.
Oh, hands down. Like if you price just the $60 plus the 28.50, you're
Yeah.
looking at like 37 a day,
Hmm.
which in the industry nobody's cheaper than this, right?
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
I will say when you price Norwegian to a Royal Caribbean cruise, like
Hmm.
say Apples to Apples, Caribbean 7 nights, Norwegian's probably going to be higher. So you do need to do the
Hmm.
math on this, right?
Hmm.
Because how much is Royal Caribbean going to cost you per day for all these items? Versus Norwegian, it's a smaller upfront at the 37, but the price of their cruise tends to be a little higher. So
Yeah.
again, I think that confuses people too, which way
Yeah.
do I go? Because they'll go for the cheaper option, probably, let's say
Hmm.
Royal Caribbean, and then now they got to buy the drink package, they got to buy the Wi-Fi, they're going to go specialty dining every night, and
Yeah.
next it's higher than a Norwegian cruise.
Yeah, totally. Especially because like Royal Caribbean's individual dining night would be so much more. It'd be like $69 per person per meal in some of their restaurants.
Right, which is why you should use a travel advisor. If you don't use my
Yes.
agency or any other agency,
Yes.
do what you want. But we know the math here, and we know
Right.
how to price these. So it's always good to seek out an expert to know the differences and really, are you getting a good value or not?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So I think we did a pretty good job of covering just about everything. I just want to go over some of like the FAQs here
Yeah.
so that people sort of understand it. Like, I have a question about the way that drinks work on Norwegian because I know some cruise lines have limits on how many alcoholic drinks you can have. Is there a limit?
There's no limit on Norwegian, but they
Wow.
do have the discretion to
Okay.
turn you off if they feel it. If an officer feels that you're too intoxicated, then they will turn off the
Hmm.
package. But they do give you discretion on that, which is nice.
Okay. That's a pretty big deal though, because some people, like I know when they cruise a Carnival, they get kind of irritated about that whole 15 drink limit or whatever it is these days. That might be for some people a good thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
With Carnival, it is an upsetting topic, and
Mhm.
here they don't have it, which is really nice too.
I feel like I feel like if you're someone who likes to enjoy quite a few cocktails a day, Norwegian's free at sea is a pretty good value. And maybe the reverse is true too, that maybe Norwegian sometimes can be a little bit less of a good value if you don't drink as much. But you don't have to get the drink package and pay those
No.
gratuities. You can bring the cruise cost down, but you're really getting a lot of bang for your buck if you like to drink, I
Well,
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny when I talk to clients and ask them, it's always a
Mhm.
tough decision between Norwegian and Royal Caribbean.
Mhm.
And one of the first questions I ask is, "Do you drink?" And that's kind of heading me where I'm going on
Oh.
which one I'm looking at,
Mhm.
because it is a huge value at Norwegian.
Oh.
Because with Royal Caribbean, their drink package tends to be higher, and
Mhm.
once you do the math on these two, then you can really see who's really saving you money, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because you really have to break it down if you're going to be adding a drink package with other cruise lines. I
And I'm
don't.
sure people don't realize too on this,
Mhm,
what do they have now, right? Because if they booked 6 months ago,
mhm,
months ago, what are you doing? So if you're
right.
already booked on a Norwegian cruise line, anything now on since this came out is
Oh.
free at sea.
Oh,
But if
okay.
you're booked 6 months ago, you're now still at more at sea. So the only way that you're going to switch from more at sea to free at sea is if you do a price change, which could be either the
Oh.
price drops
Mhm.
or you upgrade to a higher category and your price increases as well. They're going to change you to free at sea. So be aware that anything you do price point wise will impact what you have from more at free when you go. So many people are booked in 27. So there's
Mhm.
scenarios for that. And then if you are in someone's Norwegian's group right now, which even at Dream Vacations, we have a ton of our own groups for all of us to use. If you're in a group, it will always state more at sea if that's what the group was designed as, because it goes by the group level, not by the individual level. So if you're in
Mhm.
group, you can change, you can decrease, and you'll stay at more at sea. And there's really no way to change that one. That one will stay more at sea for the entire until you cruise.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
typically with groups, they always go by the group. So whenever the
Yeah.
group was designed is when what program you're in.
Off the top of your head, do you know what Norwegian's gratuity charge per day is outside of this package? Do we know what theirs is? I think I
I
could.
think it's 22 if I recall.
It's up there. It's up there, isn't it?
I can check. Let me see.
Yeah, we'll check. While Wendy's looking that up, you guys, I want to let you all know. I want to take just a tiny moment here to let everybody know how you can reach Wendy and her team if you're interested in booking a cruise with her or even looking at her website. Her website is actually a killer place to search for cruises and get an idea for pricing. And you can also kind of play around at her website and just search by something like departure port. Maybe you live in the South and you want to cruise out of Galveston. You would just go to her website and then go to cruises. And there's this really cool cruise search tool where you can plug in your parameters and stuff and just look at it. You don't have to book anything, but use it as like a resource. So the website, this is our partnership website, by the way. Wendy and her team are our authorized travel agency, travel advisor partner, and you can get there by going to cruisetipstv.membercruises.com. So cruisetipstv.membercruises.com. And right on the homepage at the top right, you're going to see Wendy's telephone number for her answering service that is just for our people. So when you call 949-681-8092, you'll leave a message and Wendy will determine based on kind of what you're looking for if she's going to be calling you back or if there's a member of her team that's more suited towards your booking. But the site is really cool for just shopping. You can also look at resorts and tours and luxury stuff, but the cruise search thing is great. You can search by cruise line too, or departure date or length. Like if you're like, oh, I just really need a short cruise, you can go in there and plug in 3 to 5 nights or whatever. So be sure to check it out. Whenever I'm searching by departure port, this is always where I go. I take a look at it and I'll just do like an open-ended search for departure port and like basically just a date. And I typically am able to get a really nice look at the pricing. And I feel like if you do your pricing searches here, you're getting a real look at what the pricing might be. Instead of, I think some people, when they do cruise searches, they go to those third-party sites like maybe Priceline or Expedia, and those places it's hard to know if they're really the actual price you're going to be getting. So just use caution and just know that if you guys need another like searchable website, this is a good one for you.
Yeah, and what I love about it is the search feature. You can put
Yes.
Norwegian in, and it goes from low to high.
Okay.
Versus most of these websites now with cruise lines, they kind of keep it kind of secret. I was joking with
Mm.
someone at Dream Vacations, like I was on the IT committee. I was like, it takes 10 clicks to find the price on this one cruise line site.
Oh.
So just be aware mine is like 2 clicks, to find
Oh.
things.
So
But
it sorts by low
uh,
to high pricing?
yeah, you just put in Norwegian and hit search, and you'll see the lowest price for Norwegian. And my site
Oh.
does book online too. So you
Yeah.
can book on the website. What's
Mhm.
nice is you can do it all yourself, but you still have a travel advisor to assist you. One of my agents will be there for you, either
Oh.
me or one of my team of 20. And they will, be there if you need something, you need help with air or any of that stuff. You
Mhm.
also have a person. So
Yeah.
which is really nice. A lot of my clients now are using the book online, and
Mhm.
it's just nice. It's just like I can still do it myself at midnight and get the deal, and then I can talk to Wendy next day. So I
Yeah. Oh,
love
that's
that.
a really good point. And so you're still getting the support of it, but some people also feel like they want to control it. Like when they go to book, they're
Right.
like, I want to book it. I want to control it. And that makes sense. I feel like I'm kind of like that too. But this way you can go in, you can pick your own. Can you pick your own cabin?
Yep, it's
It's all
totally
there.
dynamic.
It's real. Okay, good.
Super easy. Probably
Yeah,
the easiest site. Like my site is one of the best out there. I will
it
claim it
is.
because
It is.
I've seen the others and they don't want you to be seeing by price. That's an
Yeah.
industry issue with travel advisors that one of
Hmm.
the reasons Air doesn't like us is because we show you the cheapest air flights, right? You can go to Expedia or Google Flights. All of them are using Google Flights, all travel advisors sites are
Yeah.
kind of run through theirs. And it's one of those things where what if you only had to go to an airline site? It would
Hmm.
be if you had to go to each airline site, that would take you so much time. And
Yeah.
travel advisors are making it easy by building sites with everybody on it.
Hmm.
So,
It's cool.
so why go to Norwegian when you could go see
See
everybody? So,
everything.
but
And
I
what?
did find the
Yeah.
price of the
Oh
gratuity.
yeah.
So
How
the
much is it? Cool.
gratuity,
Hmm.
I was a little high actually. I really thought it was higher.
It's okay.
20 per person per day for the
Yeah.
standard cabins
Okay.
and 25 for the suites in Haven.
Okay.
So again, not too bad. And again, seek out agents. Travel agencies, sometimes that's one of the perks that Norwegian will give us as an extra addition to use us.
Yeah.
What's funny is a lot of people probably think, oh, they don't want travel advisors booking them. They actually do because we make the experience better for you ahead of time.
Hmm.
So they have less issues on board. Our clients are well aware of things that are happening. And so they would prefer you to go through a travel advisor versus doing it yourself, especially if you're new.
The
There's just so
cruise
much to
lines
learn.
do, right?
Yeah, they
Oh
want you to
wow.
use a travel advisor.
Okay, only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first, there, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
Norwegian is one of our best partners. There was a time where some of the cruise lines were trying to really lower commissions and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Norwegian came to the table and said, they call us partners first. And so
Oh,
partners first, and they made sure that the whole industry changed because of them. So
that is really cool. That is really cool. They're elevating that relationship and making sure that you guys are taken care of and showing the value, not just saying it, but like in their actions.
well, and yeah,
Yeah.
and especially even with our partners with Norwegian,
Hmm.
I don't know if clients know this, but we actually have what's called a business development manager for every cruise line. And
Hmm.
really, sometimes, if you have a problem or some issue, you don't know where to go, as a
Yeah.
client, but we
Hmm.
do. And we have these partners who know us, know I have children and
Hmm.
we know personally and like, hey, can you help me with this? And
Yeah.
so that's another reason, you should use a travel agent to have that
Yeah.
extra VIP a service. So,
It doesn't cost you more, and all you're getting is
no,
more support and a guarantee that you're not going to be the one who's stuck on the phone with the cruise line if something goes awry, if you need to make a change. It's just a no-brainer.
oh, don't remind me of those phones.
I know, I know. Back during the shutdown, it got really bad.
Oh,
Everybody was waiting on those 6-hour calls, and it was just terrible.
yeah, my husband knows how long I've been on hold today with cruise lines based upon how clean the kitchen is. So I
Oh, because you just
so
go
I
put
stay
it
on
on
hold. I stay on hold.
speaker.
I clean. That's what I do. When I'm on
Oh,
hold for 30 minutes, I clean. So
yes.
so yeah, he knows the day. Oh, you were on hold a lot today. Yes, I was. So, and it's frustrating
Mm,
for, clients. A lot of times it's long waits, and obviously with us, certain lines give us VIP lines. We don't wait as long and things like that as well. So, you can just sit back and relax and just wait.
yeah,
So,
let it
but
happen.
the whole thing with this Norwegian new change, I
Yeah.
think is a great. I think they did a lot of good to this one. I know
Hmm. Hmm.
we didn't like things that they changed on the last one when they moved, but
Hmm.
with this one, especially the dining, that is a game changer because
Hmm.
now if you're with your friends and
Yeah.
you're all going to have the same amount of specialty restaurants, and I do love their specialty restaurants.
Yes.
Um,
And they
they're
should.
so
They're so
amazing.
good at Norwegian. They're
Yeah, I know a
amazing.
lot of clients are like, "No, I'm not gonna pay for a specialty restaurant," but with Norwegian, it kinda comes with, right?
Yeah.
So then you get to see the difference and realize why
Hmm.
maybe when you go on another cruise line, say Princess, Royal, Carnival, why still people are paying for it, right? You can see
Yes.
the value of the dining once you've tried it. because many people have
Yeah.
never tried specialty dining, and I'm telling you, you're missing out.
Yeah.
I do at least 2 to 3 on every cruise I go on.
So good. And Norwegian has a lot of choice with theirs. I was on one of the
Yes.
oldest ships in their fleet, Norwegian Spirit, back in September, and even they had incredible selection of specialty dining. They had an Italian. They had 3 Asian restaurants. They were all in one complex. They were all in one like building, but they had teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and sushi. They had French. They had steakhouse. I mean, there were so many, and most of the ships are that way. You have an enormous amount of selection. Unlike some cruise lines where it's like there's maybe 2. Some cruise lines, they
Mhm.
have typically you'll have like a steakhouse and maybe an Italian or a trattoria or something. And obviously, there are lines that have a lot more than just 2, but Royal Caribbean is probably the closest comparison. But Norwegian just is a big part of the experience with Norwegian, I think, as well. I love their main dining room too. If you wanted to avoid it and do main dining every night, I think these days on Norwegian, you're going to have an incredible experience just doing the main dining. If you maybe you feel like specialty dining is a little too much food, or you just want to do one, or you're in that 2 to 4 night sailing and one is enough, that can be fun too. But I think they've really come a long way with their MDR.
Well, and how I look at this too is when, when you're home, right? You're
Mhm.
going out to dinner, you see the cost nowadays of going out to just
Yeah.
a regular dining venue out there, and you look at this value. This is the time to go out to eat,
Oh my
save your
gosh,
money at
right?
home and
Yeah.
put it in here. You
Yeah.
can't compare the two, you know.
Yeah, you're so right. You go to a steakhouse on land and you're paying for everything. You're paying for that wedge salad you start with. That's going to be 15, $20. Your steak's going to be 30 to 50 if not more. If you want sides, sometimes those are add-ons. Your dessert's going to cost you, and here we are, you know, looking at the fact that all you're really covering is the gratuity, which is very reasonable, by the
Well,
way. I
especially
mean,
with, let's say you're going to Europe or something like that on a
yeah.
cruise, it's so
Oh.
much more valuable because,
Mhm.
I love to book trains too. So I do a lot of that. And,
Yeah.
I look at the train costs of a customer to go through 3 or 4 countries. And then I look at the cruise, and the cruise is always substantially cheaper because you're
Oh.
getting all that food included, especially restaurants, versus doing a land trip to Europe. So, and
Yeah.
Norwegian has some of the best itineraries for Europe. They definitely go to more unique places than some of the other lines.
I've seen some of their voyages go to like Iceland and Greenland and just
Mhm.
all kinds
That's
of.
my dream.
Me
If you're ever
too.
gonna go to Norway, Iceland, that's a
Yeah.
nice route that they do a lot,
Mhm.
hands down Norwegian. So,
So
again,
yeah.
that's another thing too, that they're all not the same when they do certain countries, and,
Mhm.
Norwegian has some really great routes for Europe.
I love it. So I think we did a pretty good job of covering this. I want to ask you though, you just mentioned train
Mhm.
being such a unique way to travel. You just did the coolest train trip with your daughter. Do you have a few minutes just to tell our audience about this Amtrak adventure? Because I think it's so
Yes.
inspiring. And I know there may be some people who are so interested in what you did and how you booked it and what the experience was like. So let's hear it.
Yeah, I enjoy cruises as much as I do trains, and
Yeah.
so I've done this route before, I wanted to do it with my daughter, and so we trained from Los Angeles to Seattle. So this is a great add-on if you're
Oh.
going, on Alaskan cruise. So,
Oh.
it was about 38 hours that we were on board, and I had got a roomette with them, which is just a room for 2. The chairs face each other during the day, and then at night it becomes a bunk bed room. So it is a tight room. That you think an
Yeah.
inside cabin is small. This is small. However, yeah, I can't complain about an inside cabin anymore. But your dining is included if you're in a roomette, and they have an observation car with full window all the way to the top of the ceilings.
Whoa.
Um, Gorgeous. And I will tell you, 37 hours I was on that train, I barely looked at my phone. You are
Oh.
on the coast for about 3 hours, and I'm talking on the tip edge of the coast. Like we're like high up at this
Mm.
point.
Mhm.
And then when you get to Oregon, you're going through the Cascades. I felt like I was in the 1800s, just seeing these valleys come in, and then you'd see a lake come in, and
Mm.
the trees were red and yellow and green, and the food was amazing. Like they had steak and salmon and chicken, and they all were good. We tried them all. And then
Wow.
with the dining on Amtrak, you actually eat with other passengers. So if you don't have
Mhm.
4 people, you do get strangers. And I remember when cruises used to do that, where you before the pandemic, you
Yes.
used to be able to sit with others and get to meet people. And with the trains, they still do, and it was fascinating to meet people. And many were cruisers. I would overhear other tables. They were talking about their cruise adventures. So
Hmm.
we have about 5 routes in the U.S. that are incredible,
Okay.
and you can get to cruise. I have a friend right now that's doing Los Angeles to Chicago, spending the night, and then doing Chicago all the way to Fort Lauderdale to
What?
pick up a ship. And that one's called the Floridian. So it goes all the way from Chicago,
No.
hits Washington, D.C., and then goes down the eastern seaboard.
Hmm.
So, and it's not that expensive, in my opinion. My 37-hour train was about for two $900. But if you look at that, included an overnight stay,
Hmm.
the food and all that. And then if you wanted to go coach, where no food is included, you are sitting in kind of like a business class seat that you see
Yeah.
on an airplane.
Uh-huh.
That one runs maybe about 175 a person. So it's definitely half the cost. So you have that option too. But I've
Hmm.
done both sides now. I've done coach and I've done the first class side, and I
Yeah.
will always do first class
How do
side.
you sleep though if you have just a first class seat? Do you just like lay down in your first class
Well,
seat?
the first class seats are all rooms. So they're either a roomette like us or a bedroom. So with the
Oh.
roomette, it's literally two chairs that face each other. And then at night when you go to dinner, they
Mhm.
convert that into a bed. And then above you, there's a bunk bed that comes down.
Okay.
So it fits two people. So like
Hmm.
families of three kind of need two roomettes, or they do have a bedroom where
Hmm.
it does hold three, but it has a bathroom, a private bathroom and everything in that one, but
Hmm.
it is still tight. So
Hmm.
again, this is like, the inside cabin in half. But
Yeah.
it was fine for two of us. Again, the train, you're sitting in your chair most of the time watching outside, and
Yeah.
the beds were comfortable. Again, I would do it again in a heartbeat, but really look for it for Alaska, because
Hmm. Hmm.
I think it's a nice way to come into Los Angeles, which, you could do stuff down here if you wanted to see Disney, all that kind of things, and then go up by train 2 days ahead and then pick up your train. It drops you off right into Seattle downtown. And so you
Wow.
could literally go, I would say one night ahead, before
Mm.
your cruise still, because trains do delay. So
Yeah.
just be aware you can't like plan it enough to where,
Yeah.
and the train does come in about 6 p.m. So you're going to spend the night anyways, but there's a hotel right across the street. So easy enough. But
Wow.
yeah, I love trains. And then I sell Amtrak's other version, which is rail bookers, and that's the Europe option. So
Hmm.
yeah, trains are a fun way to see the country, domestic and international, because you don't have to drive. I
Yeah.
mean, hands down, and
It's the
and you
best.
go places no cars go to. So I
Now,
just saw a YouTube the other
hmm,
day where
hmm,
a guy was going from taking Cunard from England, then hopping New York, hopping a train to Chicago, and then another train to Chicago to Seattle. Like, so again, you can always add this to cruises. It's pretty cool.
oh, this is making me want to do it. Do the bathrooms have showers?
So if you're in first class, which is the roomettes and the bedrooms, roomettes share showers. So,
Hmm.
obviously it's a shared shower situation for them.
Hmm.
And they have about 5 bathrooms per car. So there's not that many people in that cabin. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Um, and then with the roomettes, they actually have their own, I mean, not the roomettes, I'm sorry. The
Sure.
bedrooms, they have their own bathroom where they
Okay.
have a shower and a toilet and
Shower and
a
a toilet.
sink.
Okay.
So it's a little
That's
bit more
cool.
expensive. So if you want more privacy, get that. But it was 37 hours. We left at 9 a.m. We got there at 6 p.m. the next day. I just chose not
Yeah.
to shower.
Yeah.
So,
And then so
um,
then, but all the meals are included?
yeah, all the meals. So and they're great. They have a kitchen below the dining room. So it's not like some
Hmm.
microwave meal. It was a full steak. In fact, they're
Hmm.
famous for their steak. That's one thing that,
Wow.
they'll tell you to get their steak. And my daughter had the salmon. I was like, ooh, salmon, would that be good? It was
Yeah.
delicious. I mean,
Yeah.
so
She loved
it's
it.
worth jumping out the extra money. And I know a lot of people, they see it like, oh, it's expensive. Like, it's really not. If you add that,
Yeah.
you're staying over in a hotel. Like, it's a one night stay.
Hmm.
I would be aware that the train is moving when you're walking. I did get hit a couple times, like a bump
Oh no.
here and
Yeah.
there. I did sit with someone who was 81 at lunch, and she was in the bunk bed. I'm like, credits to you, because
Oh
I'm like,
my
I'm not even
gosh.
attempting to get up there.
Yeah.
So
I'm like,
be aware
no,
of that
it
too.
moves. And the
You're
Wi-Fi's not
worried if
that. Yeah. The Wi-Fi's
the
not all that
Wi-Fi
either,
is the
right?
only, I'd
Oh,
say the only two negatives on Amtrak, because again, these trains are old, but they
yeah.
keep them up well. Like this one had leather seats that were brand new. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
great look on the train. The only negatives is they do not have Starlink, which most cruise lines do. So
Hmm.
Wi-Fi is limited. But again, I didn't mind because it was such a relaxing trip to stare out and see the world, you don't need it per se. But
Yeah.
that would be something that should change. And then the bathrooms are like airline bathrooms. They're
Mhm.
very tiny,
Okay.
and so be aware there. And they're a little dated in there. That's where they can't fix because it's just hardware that can't be changed. But
Yeah.
again, I would do it again. I do it again. I just would break it up. There are ways to take Amtrak throughout the country. I sell Amtrak vacations, and there's a way to break it down too, where if you want to go for 8 hours, stop
Mhm.
for a couple of days, go another 8 hours, stop for a couple of days.
Mhm.
But we went all the way through. But yeah, you got
Wow.
to try it, Sherry. It's the
I
best
want
train
to. Yeah.
in the U.S. is the one I took, which is the Coast Starlight on
Oh,
Amtrak.
so beautiful. Does it stop a lot?
It does. I mean, probably like every half an hour to an hour, it does like a quick stop, and then there's breaks in between. So, like in San Luis Obispo, we had what's called a fresh air break,
Ooh.
where people could go outside, walk, or if you smoke, you could smoke.
Mhm.
You really couldn't leave the train because it would
Mhm.
leave without you. But yeah, no, you can get off the train at certain parts, and I preferred like going to the restroom or going anywhere in the train when it was stopped because then they didn't get hurt. So.
Oh, that's so
So I
true.
was like, let's go to the
Yeah.
observation car. Why? Because I'm not gonna be bumped,
Yeah.
so, um, so be aware if you have any issues with walking or anything like that, you're still gonna have some concerns because it is,
Yeah.
uh, uh, it can be bumpy sometimes when it's a moving
Right.
train, so.
And
But yeah, no, and a great way to add on to cruise ships. I mean,
no
what an
kidding.
experience, right?
Right.
East Coast one is my next one. I'm doing, DC to Orlando, so,
Wow.
they have a great route that way as well.
That's going to be
Great
a
add-on.
blast. And then are you doing a cruise from Orlando after that, or are you doing the parks?
No, I'm doing the park. So
Yeah.
my goal, one of my dream bucket items is actually going to be on this one,
Mhm.
is at Universal Studios. They have a, parade and dine program. So it's Mardi Gras, and so I want to be on one of their parades and pass out the beads.
Fun. That's going to be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, so
I
that's kinda
love
cool.
that,
So and you can
Wendy.
take again Orlando, you could get off of it, and you take
Mhm.
it all the way down, or you can also hop the Bright Line too. So just don't forget, like, if you're going from or Disney to a cruise ship in Fort Lauderdale, now they
Yeah.
have Bright Line. So yeah, I do know trains pretty well. I
I
do
love
love
it.
them. I mean, if you're a cruiser,
So
how could you
great.
not like a train? It's amazing.
Thank you for taking a minute to share that. And then should
Yeah.
people just book it on the Amtrak website? Is it something that you typically book people for, or should they just go on the
No,
website and do
I
it?
do book it,
You
and
do.
and it
Okay.
is good to use a travel advisor who knows the routes and know which way to do it because, I saw it's so sad. I saw someone, she had come to the first class lounge, between trains when I got to Los Angeles,
Mhm.
and she had thought she had booked a roomette, and she was in coach.
Oh,
And
no.
so, for 40 hours, she's stuck in coach now, and there was no, space available to upgrade.
Oh, no.
So
And
be
so
aware if
that
you don't
means you're just
understand it, you
stuck in
need
a
to call
seat.
us.
You have to sleep in a seat?
Yeah, and some people I did it once. I mean, it can be
Mhm.
done,
Mhm.
but, if she was older, I'm sure she wanted the roomette, she wanted that experience, and she just
Yeah.
bought the wrong ticket. So,
Oh,
again, seek us out because we know to buy the
okay.
right ones,
Yeah.
and we can make it more, we know where in the routes you might wanna take a break or, going through Montana, a lot of people stop there to see, the glacier area. So, um
Oh, so then you get on another train, stay there for a day or 2, and then
yeah,
get
yeah,
on
you
the
can stay
next
2 a day or
one.
2 and get on the next one. Mhm.
Oh, that is such a genius idea.
You can see the whole country by train if you know how the routes are,
Wow.
and there are not that many routes, which is nice, but you can also attach it to a cruise. I mean,
Yeah.
hands down, Alaska would be the ultimate
Mhm.
because the
Mhm.
West Coast train is the best train in the US.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you don't like to fly too, this is a wonderful option.
Yeah, well, even, like, right now with, flights are being a little dicey out there, that I saw a lot
Oh,
of people
yeah.
on the train who couldn't get home or whatever, and they hopped on the train to get home,
Mhm.
so if you ever get stuck in a city, look for Amtrak, they might be able to save you.
Be thinking about that. That's a good tip. Oh my goodness. So I'm flying out. I'm flying out this weekend to Los Angeles to jump on Norwegian Bliss for the Latitudes Rewards members cruise. And I just got an email this morning from American Airlines saying, heads up, we've been told that we have to cancel 10% of flights in the US. So just be aware. We don't know what's happening yet. I don't have any, like, I didn't get any notifications of my flight being canceled, but it's scary. If you're jumping on a cruise ship and you're flying in the day before, if you miss that flight and there's not another one the same day, it's scary. But
Well, I'll tell you a tip
yeah.
on that. So I'm
Okay.
very known to show up to a ship very close to time.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I typically do is I will buy an extra ticket refundable.
I've heard about people doing this.
Yeah, so you can buy a refundable ticket. Usually just watch the rules on it, see when is the last
Okay.
moment you can cancel,
Mm-hmm.
and buy that as your backup plan, because if you don't want to miss something, that's the way to do it.
Right.
Because what happens is if you do get canceled closer to, typically they're not going to cancel it to a couple hours before. At that point, everything is already too late.
Yeah.
So you got to plan ahead for that. But that is one trick to the industry is refundable tickets.
Buy
And
a
I've done,
refundable
three.
ticket.
One time I had 3. It was horrible. And
Oh
sometimes you
my
lose a little
God.
money. Like I think I lost 20 on one and maybe 35 on another, but it was fine because I wanted to get there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would rather do that and have my backup plan versus waiting for them to decide.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if I should. They also have this pop-up alert that you get on the American Airlines app that says when there's something adverse happening, they give you this ability to manage your flight for no extra cost. So I'm thinking about it. But anyhow, I don't want to keep our people waiting. I know I went off a little on a side conversation, but Wendy, I just want to thank you so much for going over all of these details with us. And reminder, folks, to reach Wendy, go to the website CruiseTipsTV.membercruises.com. Her phone number is in the top right, and she can assist you with cruise bookings. She can assist you with all-inclusive resorts. She can assist you with luxury. There are tours available to you all over the world as well, and she does rail. She even can do safaris and things like that. So be sure to reach out to her, and she and her team will take good care of you. Wendy, anything else that you want to share before we sign off today?
No, I just want to say thank you to everyone at CruiseTipsTV who actually do use me currently. You guys are amazing. You're my favorite to talk to, hands down. Don't tell my other clients. But I just love your energy. I love that you know things. You're planned ahead a little bit. So when we have a conversation, I always joke saying, I'm the pilot, you're the co-pilot. I just got to make some of the rules. I got to change a few things, but we're in it together. So I just appreciate all you guys. And I'm sure some of you all will be like, Wendy, I heard you. So
Yes,
thanks
they
again for
will.
using us. I appreciate it.
Yes. Well, thank you for your partnership over all of these years, Wendy. We have been together for 6 years now, I believe. It feels like it's been about that long, and we're so thankful to have you to take care of our people. And friends, thank you for listening. I hope this has offered some clarity on Free at Sea. And until next time, we'll see you on the high seas. Thanks for listening to Cruise Tips TV Unplugged. If you like our show and want to know more, check us out at CruiseTipsTV.com. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram by searching Cruise Tips TV. We'd love if you'd leave us a review wherever you're listening to this podcast, subscribe to the show, and tune in next week. Until next time, we'll see you on the high seas.